some other men are listening and they feel this power dynamics with women. So what do you want to say? What got you into really coming out there and being such a magnificent ally?
I have 85 employees today, and I think 77 are female, and I have 9 direct reports and 8 are women. And, how did I end up in this place? And they said they felt like they have always felt that I just always hired the best person for the job. I was just open-minded enough at that time to actually be trying to identify talent. And, going back 20 years ago, sadly to say, but the reality is that a lot of women were not getting the opportunities that they could have. I'm going to call it my self-deprecating way.
Hello, welcome to Unfiltered with Mariat. I am here to have real conversations that inspire, challenge, and connect us. Together, we will dive into stories that matter, build authentic connections, and uncover strategies to grow capital, whether it's financial, social, or personal. No filters, no holding back, just impactful discussion with incredible change makers and visionaries. Let's grow together. Join me, Unfiltered with Mariat. So, well, how are you, Ryan Benn?
Hi, Mariat.
It's such a pleasure to have you here. Amazing. I'm so excited for this conversation, but I just want to find out more about you because everyone listening want to know who is that person, who is Ryan Benn. So tell us, in your own words, who are you? Who is Ryan Benn?
Well, I'm nervous. I'm going to put you on the spot and make you answer the question first. You said you want me to come in here and have a chat with you. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me because you're a major inspiration for me. Oh. And it's the reason that I am here. Who is Ryan Benn? That's changing all the time, which I think is very interesting and probably part of the message that both of us would feel is it's, these are moving pieces all the time, and trying to figure out even how to answer that myself is interesting. But born and raised in Vancouver on the West Coast, actually in Tsawwassen. That's a little unusual. And blue collar family, struggled to kind of figure out what I was going to do in life, and ended up at my best friend at the time recommended I go to BCIT with him, which I ended up doing. Went into sales and marketing, did well in school.
Every piece is coming together now.
Interesting, right? Yeah. And then graduated in 2001, really hard year to graduate, not a good economy, very, very tough out there. Went into sales and did well, as a junior inside salesperson. And then I'm giving you my resume, but not who I am, but what I out there. And then I got this amazing phone call from a person I never met before that somehow heard about me for an opportunity to run this magazine called Alive that I'd never heard of before in health and wellness and publishing. And, fast forward 2 months later, I ended up being the president and the publisher of Alive. It was 20 years ago on October 31st.
Wow.
And it's been an incredible journey. So I grew up in that business and then in its parent company, running this media company called Teldon, large commercial printer, everything. And then now after having that journey, an employee-owned organization, I became a minority, but a shareholder in that company. We divested in March of 2020. Wow. And I went back to Alive full time. And since 2 years ago exactly, I bought, which is where we met each other through Canada-wide media with BC Business, Vancouver Magazine, TV Week, Western everything. Yeah, so somehow I folded into this media business. So that's kind of the business. And natural health and wellness is Alive. So very, very important part of my life. And I love people.
Oh, yes, we know that. You do a lot for people.
I love connecting. I love it. I love the rewards that come out of being a good friend and being authentic and helping those who actually appreciate it.
Hallelujah. I love that.
Well, this is what we have in common.
Well,
Congratulations on your recent award.
Oh, Mariat. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I felt really so honored, and it was such a beautiful event. So,
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was very inspirational, and I connected with almost everyone. And I'm going to reach out to all the 21 women on that.
Of course you are, because that's exactly the type of person you are, and it's what you should do. It was spectacular. I thought Women of the Year Yeah, really awesome.
I think we can start with that conversation.
Sure.
Ryan, you've just been, I know you used the word inspiration for me, but I'm going to give it back the honors to you because one of the people in our community that really do inspire me is you. And you inspire me in such a way that you're such a great ally. You know, you're such a great believer for women and very strong in supporting women to not just break the ceiling, but, kind of build more, go beyond what they can achieve. You've done that with, Power 50 Women. You do that with a BC Business Women Leader Award. You do that as an advisor, as a friend, as a supporter, as a sponsor. You do so many things.
That's
right?
the Forum for Women Entrepreneurs, and now the Forum, on the advisory committee there, and also a mentor. Yeah.
So maybe some other men are listening, and they feel this power dynamics with women. So what do you want to say? What got you into really coming out there and being such a magnificent ally to women?
I mean, that's the real question, isn't it? It's fascinating. In order to answer that question, so we first met at W North.
Yes.
And you followed up with me we actually didn't meet there. You just saw me there and then followed up.
I listened to you. The conversation was, I was like, who is that?
And this is not a super dissimilar question. And interestingly, when I went into that, I was having a hard time. I was kind of thinking in my head, what would I talk about? Like how would I effectively answer a question like this? I ended up crowdsourcing the answer. I went to a bunch of the women who work for me directly, etc. And I asked them the question, like, if you were to answer this on my behalf, like, what's the reason? And
I love it.
And interestingly enough, that in itself is part of the answer, isn't it? Like, I don't try and guess. I don't try and interpret. I actually went to these incredible people in my life and said, like, how did this play out, sort of thing? And the answer was really interesting. It's not specifically answering this question, but it's a good start for it, which was they said, I was like, how did I end? The question I had at that time was, how did I end up in this place where, I have 85 employees today? Mm-hmm. And I think 77 are female, and I have 9 direct reports and 8 are women. And, how did I end up in this place? And they said they felt like they have always felt that I just always hired the best person for the job.
Yes.
I was just open-minded enough at that time to actually be trying to identify talent. And, going back 20 years ago, sadly to say, but the reality is that a lot of women were not getting the opportunities that they could have. Mm-hmm. So, in their, I'm going to call it my self-deprecating way, it was actually like really pure. It was, I was just very selfish by the years. I wanted to build the best team I possibly could. I just didn't, I didn't see gender. I was like, this is unbelievable. This is the best person to hire. Why don't I hire them? And then more and more and more. And then it comes along. And I also think that, I relate well in that kind of like with a lot of, it's very stereotypical, but some of the stereotypical characteristics of women, like I really lead with gut and emotion. I really like to run a business like very familial. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of that, just kind of like inherently just played together. It wasn't a master plan, I guess is what I'm getting at. Then I found myself in this environment. So then it's kind of different. So there was no master plan to build a female-led team and that I really wanted to support all of these. And no, I just wanted to identify talent and do the best job I possibly could and keep and retain the best employees. And then over time, I've now had these powerhouse women who've been reporting to me and on my team for, in many cases, over 15 years. This is now like, these are your friends.
Yeah.
And that starts to then carry on a life of its own and dictate. And I'm proud of them, no different than I'd be proud of anybody. So like if you have a team and you've been together so long and you've experienced success as a business and you get into the trenches and you go to war and you go to battle together and you do all of these things and you go through life and highs and lows and, they're family. So they go through tragedy and they go through triumph and you go through that with them and you become very, very close.
And that's a culture. That's a culture you've built. You've built a really amazing culture, which we say all the time, organization, if you focus on the mindset and the culture, you can get rid of any sort of stereotype or biases. So what you've done is you've built an amazing culture and you went out there to look for talent. So in doing that, you were actually creating a form of gender equity within your organization.
100%. I just wish it was intentional. it's nice because it was intentional in my heart, obviously, right? In my mind, but it wasn't purpose driven. Like I can't sit here and say like, oh, I really wanted to create an environment that was going to empower women. I wanted to create a great environment that ended up empowering women.
I disagree.
Well, that's nice.
I disagree. I think the mindset is the brain work. And I think the mindset of the fact that I'm going in here to build something and I'm looking for great people to work with me.
Sure.
You are not going, I'm building something and I'm looking for great men to work with me.
No,
right?
I wasn't very quickly.
So it's purposeful. It's purposeful because this is who you are. So you don't need to come and you brought your authentic self to your business like you do every day.
Totally.
So let's give you that kudos.
Well, okay. Well, that's nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
And, going back to, I'm at fault, ruthlessly transparent and honest.
I love it.
I think that builds trust. And so, I don't pull any punches. It's just nice that in the instance of most situations that we're talking about, the honesty is like, it's nice. I don't know how to say it sort of thing. So when I'm up on stage at W North, I gave very honest answers. And sometimes that honesty is hard. But in the case of this, like I honestly love working with women. I love how they bring heart to the top of what they're doing and commitment. Right? Do you know what I mean? Like, so like, I'm like, it actually is just my honest approach is I'm like, this just works really, really well for me. Then I believe that what goes around comes around. I am a believer in karma. So I feel like I've been gifted by all of these people. And because of that, these individuals have given me their gifts of like commitment and time that it feels right for me, but also go back and then try and help others to experience the same thing. So when you phone me up and say, hey, I have a vision of doing this and I'm wondering if I can come and talk to you and pick your brain, or like my answer is yes. 100% my answer is going to be yes, because I'm like
a big one for me because let's even start with Dublin North before we get into me reaching out to you and you just write your easy access, opportunity, growth. These are all the things that we can do to create equity in the community, and you do that flawlessly. So I saw you spoke at Dublin North, and it's something you talk about your honesty and your transparency, and that just stood with me. You said something about mentorship, and we've actually built that thought with what we do with Better Know Better Society, Better Know Better Summit, what we do, the ally body.
I love it.
I wanted you to
Allyship.
know that came from you. So I want to give you your crown.
Thank you.
So what you said at Dublin North, and I'm never going to forget ever, and I've been thinking about this for longest, but no one were transparent enough to talk about it. And you said something about, I don't like this mentorship thing.
Yes. I remember,
I looked around, I was like, oops.
Yeah. This is the wrong audience.
Did they just say that? And it was like, there's a kind of hierarchy in mentorship, like, within a mentor and mentee, I believe in allyship, and I was like, yes, I want to speak to this guy.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've been thinking this for so long and we don't really talk about it, and no one wanted to be honest and talk about it. Mentorship is great in what people think it is, great. But when it comes to that relationship of mentorship, a mentor and a mentee, there is that hierarchy, there's still that gap, and the mentee will not open up as much because they still feel like, someone is there.
Well, there's also, I think that really, whether it's intentional or not, there's a power dynamic in mentorship. And that's what I don't like. Particularly, I find it ironic in mentorship that the mentor, regardless, generally has a power position, power dynamic, when the whole idea is that you're supposed to be actually supporting somebody to not have a dynamic of power.
Yes.
Right. So the approach is very different. If I go back and you and I are an excellent case study. You kind of reached out to me de facto for mentorship.
Yes.
But the very first relationship is friendship.
Yes.
Really is what it is. Like, let's sit down and have a coffee and a hangout and talk. And I would say our entire journey over those 2 years is getting to know one another is we've just helped each other.
Yes.
To advance whatever it was that we needed.
Yes.
And you helped me integrate further into the powerhouse female community in Vancouver. You've helped me to see things differently. You've clarified some of my thoughts when I say things and you go, I'm not sure this is actually how I take that. And going back to how we started the entire podcast, right? Where I said, like, I just, crowdsource that information. I'm listening to you and going, yeah, you're right. You said that better. That's actually the right way. And that's been our journey all the way through. It's just been hanging out together and figuring out how do we move the needle on things that both you and I are passionate about. Allyship.
Allyship it is. Yeah. We're going to find a way to change it from mentorship to allyship. And
I love you are.
Thank you.
I mean, that's Better Not Bitter. That's the Ally Buddy program. I love Buddy program even.
And then you're the godfather of Better Not Bitter. And, we hope that we can see you in all of our events because we want people to know. And that's what I did. I did say it out and people need to know where it all started from. You could have just shut it down when I spoke to you about it. I said, what's that? But then you just kind of like gave me the energy and the motivation that I need to take that step forward. So thank you.
Well, it was a huge success.
Thank you.
Like literally and figuratively, it was huge. It was amazing. It was well done. It was a phenomenal day.
Yeah, we're learning for a lot of things that we can do better.
Yes, and I'm still learning too. Like Women of the Year event 3 years ago didn't exist. 2 years ago we did it. It was great, but it was smaller. This year, bigger.
Yeah,
incredible energy in the room this year, and we're learning all the time.
Yeah, we need to be open to learning, and I always say that to everyone. There's nothing like failure. It's an experience. And it's another name, another word that I would like to change. It's using the word failure. I would say that's an experience. It's not failure.
Yeah.
You can use from everything that you didn't do properly and learn it, get your feedback, and then move forward into something amazing. So,
what you inspire me is so this is something that I've always, I'm not necessarily struggled with is I'm risk averse by nature. It's just the way I was brought up. Like I grew up in this, me saying I grew up you grew up in an interesting environment. I grew up in, suburbia, white collar, Tawasin, but I was raised by my parents who were, relatively blue collar, worked for one company their entire lives. My dad worked for VCTEL, and, I was brought up to be safe and conservative and not take a lot of risks because that's what they do. And still to this day, that's kind of my take on things when it comes to business, when it comes to life, when it comes to a lot of things. I tend to want to be quite secure. And then I see like ingenuity, entrepreneurship, risk taking from you, and I'm like, this inspires me so much. I just want to let you know, that's where we fit together. And I'm not hosting a podcast. You are. I'm not doing MIJ Consulting. You are. I'm not creating an event on my own. Better Not Better. You are. And I'm like, and your vision to see that and your courage to carry it through, I think is super inspiring. So I just want you to know that inspires me because it's like, I'm like, oh gosh, that's scary. To me, that's scary. Well, it's always scary for you too, but you do it. I don't.
I think we're risk takers. Once you become an entrepreneur, you automatically, the default is becoming a risk taker.
Yeah.
So that's really powerful to say that. But let's change the topic and let's go into this wannabe chef thing. I
love talking about this.
Wannabe chef on my bed. So let's get the cat out of the bag.
Oh man, I told you I wasn't going to talk about the cookbook.
No,
and here I am. I know, but you fished it out of me.
I was just talking about your passion.
Yeah,
your passion of being a chef.
I've also thought about a lot about this before, and because it probably is part of my brand. So when you went back at the very beginning, you said, "Who is Ryan Benn?" So this is one of my passions. So what we didn't talk about is I do love. I played fairly high level hockey growing up as a kid. So I've always been very, very competitive.
You used to play?
And I was competitive. And then, you stop at an age when you graduate and all that kind of stuff. And
you stop on the age when you graduate, or you stop on the age when you get older?
Yeah. Well, but I decided I wasn't good enough anymore. And I started getting hurt all the time. But I was playing 19 years old. And, there was something missing from my life for a whole time. And one of the things that I fell into, this is not about cooking, but I think it's where we're going, is I ended up really enjoying individual sports. You still do socially, but social individual sports, because I'd always had this team dynamic, this high competitive team dynamic. And I really started to enjoy time in my own mind, exercising type thing. So where that's manifested today is I do a lot of skiing, a lot of downhill skiing, a lot of mountain biking. And both those are similar, that they're quite social. Like it's usually done with a group, but for a large portion of it, you're quiet in your own mind, lots of exercise. I really enjoy that. So that's one. And then the other kind of facet of the Ryan the Sodded business is the chefing. So how this came to be was my first job outside of high school was I was a deckhand on a boat off the coast of Vancouver Island.
Oh, wow.
And a deckhand on the size of boat we were on is the chef. And I didn't know this even when I ended up getting the job as my uncle's business. And so kind of like day one, I was thrown into, you can imagine this quite industrial boat, very small galley, and was responsible for cooking. And I did not do a very good job. Clearly would not have done a very good job, as I don't know what I was, 18-year-old boy who had not done a lot of that in the mom and taken care of it. And quickly, there's these big, gruff, strong men who effectively live on these boats sort of thing. And their joy is food. And they were not happy that I was not feeding them well. So quickly I learned how to do that and to feed them okay. And this is kind of like meat, potato kind of cooking, right? But very fresh, very high quality, but like big man food sort of stuff. And I started to get good. And then these big tough men who I was this, 18-year-old boy, and these are these like grindy guys, I started seeing them light up and joy and like pat me on the back and be like, nice job, kid.
Really?
And that felt really good.
Yeah.
Because you're like adding value and you're doing these things and I'm trying to impress these guys and I'm a little, I'm scared even, right? Like you're like nervous. This is a big deal. I want to make sure that I do well at my job and everything else. And then meanwhile, I'm working alongside these people doing, other grunty work. So that was kind of my foray into realizing, and this is my big thing, is like cooking for people when it's good brings them a lot of joy.
Oh my God. Food is
and frankly, it feeds your ego a lot too, right? Because it feels good. Like people pat you on the back and give you a hug and say like, that was great. Thank you. This is amazing, blah, blah. And then, I think it was more luck than anything else. So now I'd found that I like enjoyed doing this. So I started cooking really at like 18 years old, that sort of thing. Like, but I'm talking, pretty simple stuff. But I enjoyed doing it. So I would be the one who would cook in relationships at home, even with my parents, like you name it. Like I would cook. And I just enjoyed it. And maybe a little bit of creative outlet, which I didn't have a lot of. When I joined Alive, organic, gardening, local, free range, these were all things I started to learn a lot about and realized how, and became passionate about through learning that. And that kind of tied into food. So then my food started to become a little better, higher end quality. And then, I became a CEO. I have to travel and entertain clients. So I had exposure to a bunch of incredible meals all around North America.
Wow.
And the only thing that was different than me or anybody else is that when I go to those restaurants, I'm like really analyzing the food. Like, how do you make it? What would you do? And I would take pictures. This is a long time ago and be like, and I'd even talk to the chef sometimes and be like, how did you do that? Like, I don't even know how to do that. Like, how would that happen? And that has been what's continued all the way through. So yes, now today,
is that how you infuse it into this Vancouver restaurants kind of thing that you do? And because I see I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah.
I even joined the group on Instagram because I want to see the new restaurant, the food.
Yeah.
You're lighting so many things. So
I mean, one of the main reasons that we acquired Canada Wide Media was my passion for food. So it was a passion play.
I like food songs where you don't need to hang around you much more.
I enjoyed it a lot. I had a great meal last night. I had a great meal the night before, actually, ironically, next door. But on Monday, I ate at Elio Volpe, which is one of my favorite restaurants in Vancouver. And last night, I went for the first time to a new restaurant that's getting a lot of acclaim in Vancouver called June, and had a lovely experience. So 2 nights back to back. I've been, spoiled with food and like. Both are, Elio is Italian. It actually just won for us Best Italian and Best New Restaurant. And it is very neighborhood, Canby Village. Love it. Fantastic. And I just love going in there and you're like, everything on the menu I would eat. And, everything. And you'd share it all.
Do you have any preference for food or you don't have any allergy? You just eat everything?
So I have tree nut allergy. So I have to watch tree nuts, but that's it. And preference, no, but I'm going to call it like low intervention. I love like simple dishes, like 5 ingredients, but high quality ingredients. I don't need an overly complicated dish. And even though I really love Michelin star experiences and that kind of thing, I can find them a little wearisome or not where I want to go on a regular.
Too much stuff going on.
Too much all the time.
I must say, I've gone to that part of my life where my food is simple and clean. Like, I don't want too much of all those stuff. And the ones I kind of undo is all the sauces and like this sauce, that sauce, this sauce. I was like, no. I like everything natural. So I make my own sauce. Like I would crush my ginger, turmeric, put a sprinkle of, olive oil, whatever. I do all the avocado oil right now. So I don't know, but I'm just learning all this as I go. And I became selective gluten-free, dairy-free. And I feel like my body is just thanking me like, Hallelujah. You should have done this a long time
And the
ago.
inflammatory diet.
I know. That's what I do now.
Yeah,
so
good for you.
if I have to eat, I do a lot of fish, like, omega-3,
Good for you.
kind of fish, mackerel, salmon, sardines. I never liked sardines before, but now I'm a big lover of sardines, right?
Yeah, and you can do an interesting way.
Yeah.
I had a great sardine dish the other day. I had a sardine inside a zucchini flour.
Easy.
Yeah, it was a brilliant idea. Well, that was a brilliant idea.
It's
So
not
I do.
it's not wannabe, chef. You a chef. Why you call yourself wannabe? You're already doing it.
Yeah. Maybe other people want me to be. I don't know. Yeah,
I
it's
want you to be.
people say all the time. They're like, "Why are you be a chef?" And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" As soon as it was for a job, it wouldn't be fun. Yeah, you can ask me. I already told you that.
Do you think we might have a restaurant someday from owner
Me?
Ryan Benn? Yes.
No, I don't think so. Although, if I could ever afford to invest in a restaurant where I didn't really care about the ROI, meaning that I could afford to, effectively invest and be like, I'll never get that money back. I wouldn't want to lose money, etc. But it would be a fun thing to do. Like it would, yes, for sure. There's a dream in there that would say, a small format restaurant that somebody else ran, that somebody else was the head chef at, but I could have a lot of influence in and, come in and mess around with their lives. That would be really fun. That'd be really fun.
Thank you.
But right now I'm starting with a cookbook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now you let it out. So we are doing. We'll bring you back in the ear next time, and we want to talk more about our good cookbook and see what kind of dishes and
look for it in October.
I really so close.
Yeah,
right?
very close. Yeah,
very close. Congratulations on that, Ryan Benn. And so, but you know what? I want to round up by just saying, what an inspirational leader you are, and so I just wish other leaders could listen and see how assess the open door policy you actually give everyone throughout BC and throughout the world. Anyway, you're just like very easy to come talk to, very easy to come sit down and have a good chat and seek advice from. And I just want to end it by saying I like the parts in when you were doing the cooking when you were 18 and the way those bigger men you were cooking for came and said, "Well done, this was great."
Yeah,
and you do that to me. You do that to me along, and I just want to say, I look at you and your leadership style is just amazing, and you're deserving of every. I don't know. You see, people like you that go around and give everybody an award. Please give Ben his flower. His due is flower. So I don't know, but I just feel like people could just see the amazing work and what you do for the city, for the province. How you bring a lot of positive vibes into Vancouver, and the way you shine with all the amazing work you do with your team. You're deserving of something more than that. So I have to have a talk with the mayor soon. So
thank
maybe
you.
we'll have a Ryan Benn Avenue or something.
That sounds great.
Yes, I put it out there.
You're amazing.
So thank you for taking the time to come have a chat.
Thanks for having me. Anytime.
Amazing. Thank you.